Is your behind baggy? Is your tush a little too tender? Well, Reebok has a product for you. Toning shoes. Reebok owner Adidas has been losing the sneaker wars to Nike for years. Now the German shoemaker is betting these toning shoes will be the catalyst for a comeback. Really? Brian McGough, co-founder of Hedgeye Risk Management, is with us to talk toning. Brian was a consumer analyst at Morgan Stanley for 10 years, and he knows this long-running battle between Nike and Reebok and Adidas all too well. He used to work at Nike. Brian, you know, we spoke with the Adidas CEO earlier today, Herbert Hainer, a man whose voice I know you know well if you don't know him well yourself. Let's listen to what he had to say about these toning shoes.
Now we are bringing new products and concepts into the market. The whole toning category and the toning concept is one of that, which is extremely successful, as you know. We will sell around 10 million pairs of toning shoes in 2010.
Okay, so through Herbert's German accent there, we heard him say that he expects to sell 10 million pairs of toning shoes this year. From what I can recall, that's actually a firmer forecast. At one point, it was between 5 and 10 million. Now he appears to be very confident in the 10 million forecast. A, do you buy it? And B, if he's right, how much of a catalyst can this be for Adidas in this long-running battle with Nike?
Well, so there's a couple of things. One is if he's going to sell 10 million this year, he's going to have to sell 20 million next year. So I wish him all the best there. It's a fad. It could have staying power. That's absolutely true. But if he wants to bank part of the strat plan on a shoe that's going to firm your tush, as you say, as you go from the couch over to the refrigerator to get bonbons and beer and head back to the couch again, then he can knock himself out. Okay, so toning shoes make people feel good. That's what you're alluding to, even if it doesn't do all that much in the end. But it does seem to have some momentum, call it. Even Joe Montana is hawking toning shoes of a type for Skechers. So should we expect Nike to enter this race? Unequivocally, no. There is zero chance Nike enters this. They just absolutely won't do it. It's not their thing. If they do, I'll wear them for a month in a suit and all. So I will YouTube myself there and saying that if for whatever reason they were to go out and do it, what they would do after a year or two, if it's a category that proves to have any kind of staying power, it would be what Apple has done to the Kindle. No one will now say, okay, the iPad is a better version of a Kindle. It's a completely different product.
Okay, let's talk about an event that people do say is going to be a catalyst for something to happen when it comes to Adidas and Nike, the World Cup in South Africa this summer. What do you expect? We're already seeing, obviously, this play out. It's the momentum, rather, has been building for months. Who, in your mind, has the upper hand, and just how much of a difference can it make to the top line and the bottom line of these companies?
So I think it's very premature at this point to call a winner because, look, everybody wins. It's great. When sports is big, everybody wins. Their strategies are very, very different. Adi will go out and they'll sponsor the event. So if you want to go out and buy an official World Cup hat, it's going to be an Adidas hat or an Adidas hat. They'll have to comp against that next year, which is tough, and which is why I come back to if they're going to have a big boost now in toning and in World Cup, that they're both going to have to anniversary next year, then that gets me more concerned. But they're going to have a great 010, I'll tell you that much.
Okay, let's look out into the future, because that really is what matters for investors, your clients at Hedgeye. Nike, you've been a big fan of the stock because they have had a growth strategy. They've been looking out into the future for several years. What is it that makes that attractive from an investor standpoint? How is it going to pay off for Nike? And why maybe has Adidas and Reebok not been similarly forward-looking?
Well, so I think it's actually quite simple, and it all boils down to actually having a longer-term plan and managing risk around a pretty complicated category. In that, when you look at Nike, they've actually been investing for 3 years. So I left the company, 3 years ago, I guess it was. I didn't like the stock until a couple of months ago, because it's when their 3-year restructuring, it's when it finally took shape. And people are going to start to see that, and they're going to beat numbers in the upcoming quarter. Their orders look great, their product looks great, and they're going to really gain a lot of momentum. As it relates to Adi, they've got a lot of momentum right now in the marketplace because of some factors that are probably not sustainable. And we have to hope and pray that they can pull something off next year.
Brian, we've got about 45 seconds left. We have to talk about what's going on with the European currency. Is the euro going to play havoc with either of these companies?
Is it going to play havoc? I mean, look, I don't care what anyone says. It's going to impact them. It has to. It's going to impact Adi more from an overall demand standpoint just because it's where they're based. Their market share on a combined basis in the U.S., even having both Adi and Reebok now under one umbrella, is only 7%, down from 18% prior to the merger. And they both hedge. Time will tell.